Hi, my name's Martin, and if you haven't been on this channel before, then I came to Malaysia, to Langkawi, and bought the only sailboat that I could afford. And now we've got to try and get her ready to get her off the dock. Okay, and the next job on the list is moving the fuel tank. So if we have a look in the locker, I've emptied it mainly out. As you can see, well, the fuel tank is down there, which we need to move up here somewhere. We've got a support at the back there. What I'm considering is making the support come across this bulkhead and then finishing it across here. And over here we have some old shelving from the locker, which I think that we can make a permanent shelf. Well, not a permanent, it's not a permanent fix. I would certainly not be doing it this way if it was a permanent fix. Probably the biggest problem with boat work, especially if you're trying to film it, is trying to find somewhere that's left to put the camera. I think I'm not going to be able to do that because, well, just have a look behind me, or in front of me I should say. That's things out of the locker, and there's the locker, and I've got to be down in there working, and yeah, there's no place for you, I'm afraid. So anyway, let's have a look. I've marked out a line where I'm going to come across. I have some wood that will go in there. I'm going to epoxy it and screw it. The screws are there just temporarily while the epoxy dries. But the first thing I've got to do is sand it back, because we've got I'm not sure what's on there, whether it's just left as a, no, there is paint on there. So there's paint on there, and then round at this side there's definitely paint. I'm going to get on with a bit of sanding, and then we'll mix up some epoxy and try and screw this thing in. So we've got our wood all drilled and cut over here, all ready to go on. I've actually tried dry fitting it, and it does actually fit, and the screws do actually go in the bulkhead, so that's something. So now all we need to do is fit it, and before we do that we need to make up some of YouTube's favourite solution, which is thickened epoxy. It doesn't matter how many times I've done this, I've never yet got it exactly right in the quantities, but it doesn't seem to matter too much. What's a couple of grams between friends? Now this epoxy I got online, it's supposed to be a super hard epoxy, mixing 3:1 ratio, and despite the problems I'm finding here getting the basic things, some of the more complicated things are not that difficult. Now, before I start messing around with silica, let's put on a mask. Right, there we go. I think we've got the right consistency there. let's move everything out of the way, because the only place to sit is on the hatch that I'm about to open. So I'm going to get down in there, coat the wood with this thickened epoxy, screw it on, and then we should be okay to leave it for tomorrow, and hopefully we can put a fuel tank on it. So welcome to the cockpit locker. Can't even speak anymore. Maybe it's the diesel fumes. Right, so our shelf brackets are all working and solid, so we can now try and move the tank. But before we do that, it's full of 55 litres of fuel, which is going to be quite heavy. So we need to siphon it off. It's not a very exciting job, I'm afraid. I've got two 40 litre tanks which are quite old, and yeah, I'm just going to stand here and pump until I've got as much out as I possibly can, then maybe the tank will be a bit more manageable. So the fuel tank is moved. Let's just show you what I've done. So here we are. At the last minute I decided that I needed to put a wood block alongside of it to stop the tank moving. Ratchet straps down. Now the one thing I didn't do, which I'm regretting now, and I might have to rethink it in the very near future, is I didn't put anything between the bulkhead and the tank. And really I think we should have had some form of foam or something in there to stop it rubbing, but that's something for the future. As I say, this is very much only temporary. It's something that I need to get a proper fuel tank in here at some point, so this is just temporary. The only other disappointment is the filler cap is too far over really to just fill it with a jug, so I'm using a siphon to do that. Forgetting the words again. But remember, the only reason we're doing this in the first place is because we need to get down there behind the engine. So there's going to be lots of times that I need to be down there. Initially I need to be down there to strap in batteries because they're not properly secured, and also to release the stern gland a little bit. So moving the tank wasn't just so I could get to the batteries. The batteries are quite a minor thing in comparison to what I'm doing at the moment. It wasn't until after I'd actually bought the boat that the previous owner decided to tell me that before he left, which was over a year, he had over-tightened the stern gland. Now the stern gland is a part of the prop shaft. It actually connects the prop shaft to the boat and stops water flooding into the boat. The idea is that you have an attachment on the hull, and the prop shaft comes through that, and then you have a sort of like tube type idea that goes into that. And packs down a sort of a packing. I don't know how to describe it better. It's sort of like a type of rope type thing, if you like. You wind that onto the prop shaft, and then you use the tube to pack it down hard so that not too much water comes in. I mean, the idea is that water will come in a little bit, just a few drips every couple of minutes, or a few drips every minute, something like that, but not enough that it's going to cause a problem on the boat. Now what he's done is, as I say, he's over tightened it to stop water coming in while the boat was sitting idle. But this means that the packing in there has hardened around the prop shaft, and now it won't come back out. Initially I was told if I just loosen it off it should be okay. I've loosened it off a little bit, and maybe not enough. I'm going to loosen it off again in a minute. But that didn't work. So then I've tried running the engine and putting it in gear, and actually running the prop, and all that's resulting in is the stern gland getting hot, which is a worrying thing, because if it gets too hot, the packing material is going to solidify to this prop shaft. So this is all a bit of a problem. So once again, the idea now is to loosen it off a little bit more, run the engine for a short time, and it is a short time, and see if we can start it to start expanding out again. If eventually we do this, then it's not a problem. If we don't, then we've got a big problem, and we've probably got to haul out and pull the prop shaft off, which is too big a job right for the moment. So here we are in the engine bay. Hopefully you can see. If not, we'll have to make something up as we go along. But this here is our stern gland. As I say, I have tried loosening it off a little bit. It doesn't seem to be working. I'll put a screwdriver in there and see if it moves at all. I mean, the other worry with this is that the prop shaft needs to go in perfectly straight, and if it doesn't, and it's wearing on one side of the tube, then we're going to wear a line in the prop shaft, and that's going to ruin the prop shaft. So all these things are a bit of a worry. Of course, not being able to see doesn't help, or not being able to access it easily doesn't help at all. I mean, the actual bolts are very loose now. Yeah, they're basically finger tight, and they shouldn't be. Although I can feel a little bit of water, it's not dripping the way it should be. Just nip the bolts up so they are just finger tight, because I don't want to leave it too loose, because with the vibration when it starts, I don't want them to actually fall out completely. Yeah, there is a slight amount of water coming out of it, so it might have loosened up a bit overnight since I started it yesterday. So all we can do is try a start and see whether it gets hot again. Okay, now we've done that, let's get the engine on and put it in gear and let the prop turn for, well, just a very short time, because it's getting quite hot still. We don't want it to overheat, because that will create a real problem with the wadding inside. Okay, first thing you do is check, see if we've got water coming out, and we have. We'll let that run for, you can see it's running, so we'll let that run for a little while. Okay, so I ran the engine for a little while, a bit longer than I usually do actually this time, and I've just gone down and felt the stern gland, and it's warm to the touch, but it's not hot this time, so I think that's a battle that we're going to be winning. Well, if you watch my video about the winches, you'll know that one of the winches was put on without any nuts, And I got some great comments back about that, to go through the boat and check everything, which I have been doing. And yeah, I found another one. Well, not a terrible one, but another problem. Yesterday I was running the engine, put it into gear, and the gear linkage fell off. So that's number two. That's the next problem that he's caused me by not putting proper nylock nuts on there. He just put a standard nut on it with a washer, and so obviously the movement over time has just loosened it, and off it came. But once again, you know, luckily I found it now rather than when I've gone out to sea, because had the gear linkage fallen off when I was on passage, it could have been pretty serious. Trying to anchor without a working engine would be particularly difficult, especially single-handed. So yeah, another problem potentially solved, of course, but another one that should never have been there in the first place. Well, that's it for another week. And a few more jobs closer to getting this thing sailing, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and if you haven't already subscribed, please remember to subscribe. I'm very bad at putting these things in during the video. Lots of people all the way through the video have please subscribe, but I don't. But yeah, if you do want to subscribe, I would appreciate it. If not, remember to leave a like. As I've said before, YouTube likes those a lot, and recommends my videos to lots of other people when you do. So as I say, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I will see you next week. And it's a much bigger week next week. We have some of the major jobs being completed, I'm hoping. So watch out for that video. Bye.